Hopefully you guys are all aware that the next couple of hours are going to be extremely important for the crypto space. Because as you guys have hopefully realized, about 70 days of downside has just been engulfed in a single week. This is a reminder of just how quickly things can change in crypto. But more importantly, we're all eyeing yet another breakout in Bitcoin. You can see right now we just got a rejection, but are expecting that if things end up positive over the next couple of hours, and this crazy week here was some price action we saw on Binance US. I'm still not sure why this remains here, why this price at $140,000 actually sticks around. I mean, even on the hourly, it seems that the price was warranted by the volume, which leads me to believe perhaps there was just some crazy will that decided to go for a crazy market order at that point, and perhaps even people's prices could get filled, because usually if it's a bug, it doesn't show that in the volumes, and it gets removed from TradingView after a little while, but right now it remains, which leads me to believe this could actually be a real thing. Anyway, Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks has actually been gaining in terms of dominance, but on the short term, it's facing a little bit of a problem. But I'd say that's also similar for Bitcoin's price. Anyway, depending on where we close tonight, because tonight is Sunday, right? We could get our most bullish close of the year. And actually, it all depends on whether or not we hold $30,000 tonight. From a monthly perspective, things are already looking extremely good. And again, these lines that you might be seeing in here are halving cycles. And I still believe, guys, that the bottom for Bitcoin is already in. And even though we can see another slight bottom like we saw all the way back in March of 2020, even though that was kind of circumstantial, we can see another little bit of a dip. I do believe the major bottom is in. And like I always like to state, I don't think a lot of you guys realize just how rich you'll be if you play this right. If you play these bull markets correctly, I've said this many times before, you are almost destined to 10x, 50x, 100x your portfolio, because that's what historically has happened every single time. How? Why? By just buying the proper altcoins for the proper time. You have to be able to see what type of bull market it is. Last time we had the DeFi run, we had the NFT run, we had the hype run all the way back in 2017. Before that, or slightly before, we had the ICO run. You just got to stick with these booms. Really recently, we had the meme season. If you're there early and you're adapting it properly, you make crazy amounts of gains. And this time around, I think one of the things making the most amount of gains is going to be XRP. Because with everything going on in this lawsuit, it just makes for a crazy opportunity. John Deaton said there are outstanding people, including lawyers, over on Twitter after Sandy Seth reposted how the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit could affect the entire crypto industry. Because just know that whatever happens in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit is going to be reflecting upon the entire crypto space. But something that's being slept upon ever so slightly is XLM and Stellar. They've been doing quite a lot of good stuff in the background. So here's Jeremy Allaire, the co-founder and CEO of Circle, saying, "This is a big deal. Stellar has unlocked wallets and on and off ramps on a massive scale internationally. This provides a superb, fast, and inexpensive way to move USDC globally and easily on and off ramp using cash. Congrats Coinbase and Stellar." As indeed, they just got themselves a juicy partnership between Coinbase and Stellar for running USDC on Stellar. And again, I want to connect that whole Stellar story to things like this, where the German software giant SAP is testing cross-border payments using Circle's USDC. And if you think about it, right, that's just huge for Stellar to get all that volume, to get all that adoption. Even though it's USDC, okay, it's built on top of Stellar, which is massive in my opinion. Anyway, to continue on with what I was talking about just now, Ripple SEC lawsuit attracted millions of users to XRP. One thing that's also funny, and I sometimes realize that, is just how much more popular XRP has become because of the SEC's efforts. And I still honestly believe, and this is very important, guys, the moment that this is all over, still people can't fathom just how crazy it would go. Right now, the only cryptocurrency that's basically in like, okay, we can apply an ETF for an ETF territory is Bitcoin and potentially Ethereum if you negate a lot of these remarks by Gary Gensler. But at the end of the day, Gary Gensler doesn't decide. It's the court that decides, right? And so the way I see it and the way I believe it still as of this point is right now, things are all gearing up for XRP taking over so much of the crypto space. So much money, so much power, all because of the SEC going after him. I honestly believe that XRP, in terms of price, would right now be higher. But in terms of adoption grade, if we're talking about after lawsuit, right, would be in a better position than if the SEC never went after them at all. Heck, before the SEC went after them, there would have been a chance that XRP would have just slowly gone down in relevance bit by bit. But the SEC has kept XRP in the spotlight, the extreme spotlight, for the last couple of years. And now, there's either going to be, it's basically a make or break it moment for XRP, right? The moment they get this clarity, it's about to shoot up like crazy, I think. And you might want to argue that ETFs are bad, just like this person here is saying that Bitcoin is risking a crash to 20,000 amid the BlackRock spot ETF filing, warning a Bloomberg analyst. Mike McGlone said Bitcoin at $20,000 or $40,000. Facing the Fed's recession, NASDAQ potential launch of US ETFs won't shield Bitcoin from facing its first US recession. A potential equity bear market and vigilant central banks, lessons of risk assets versus negative liquidity and economic contraction. I mean, it's always interesting, right? First of all, I like to follow the cycle, which basically pinpoints again to the fact that Bitcoin is going to be going up. I notice my camera is messing up a little bit. It's putting this into focus instead of the face. Whatever. Anyway, I still believe in the cycles, like I said. And so even if a major recession were to hit, I still believe Bitcoin will continue on with its path. Kind of similar to what we saw in 2020, where all these people come out to state, no, this is the worst thing that's happened. Market's going to be going down to the freaking doomers, whatever, for Bitcoin, right? They had all these comments. At the end of the day, what happened, right? We came back to the moving average, the 200 weekly moving average, and came right back up. It didn't even hurt. The only thing is, it went from $10,000 all the way to $3,000. Okay, but right now, let's say hypothetically speaking, we go back from $30,000 all the way to $20,000, which would be fine. That would be, in my opinion, the worst case scenario. But then still, I think it would look like this. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the U.S. gets in a really bad spot. It'll go down ever so slightly, trickle down perhaps. And just before the end either of the year or the end of this cycle, I think, again, it's going to shoot up with, again, the all-time high somewhere potentially at the midway point of 2025 or the end of 2024. It just depends a little bit. Again, if we look in the past, it just depends on how far in the cycle it's going to be. I am drawing here, but you guys can't see it perfectly. But I still believe that this is going to be what's going to happen for the next couple of months, regardless of what happens in the US. And a little side note, guys, if you've not pressed that like button yet, make sure you press it right now. And to get quickly back on topic, how the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit could affect the entire crypto industry, like I've been saying many times before, right? Right now, it's a battle between the SEC et al., versus everybody. They're going after all these different parts of crypto. So the moment that Ripple settles or comes to a conclusion, as long as they don't take it outside of the major courts and they don't go and arrange these things behind closed doors with a settlement where the SEC is still in control, regardless of what comes out of this lawsuit, we are going to be a step further towards clarity in the US. And I've said many times before, I don't care about the US and their crypto stance. It doesn't matter. But them being positive does help out for the short term. On the longer term, as I said before, any exchange can go down. It's not going to be mattering. But for early adoption, for an easiness of people buying, getting in and getting acquainted, it just helps out. So once more, we're going to tell you, stay close to the charts here. Keep watching for what's about to happen for our weekly close. Could be the first time we're closing so high in the entire year, and that could spark some enthusiasm. Some people are saying that now, because of these spot ETFs coming in, they're going to be pushing the prices down lower so the major funds can buy in cheap, right? The moment that the ETF does come up. It's an interesting theory to follow. Remember again that XRP right now is still pretty much undervalued for the position that it's in. It's the most popular spot ever. Even though many cryptos are getting less and less popular, XRP keeps up that momentum, and they've got a very good risk-reward potential. And also specifically, I'm watching this breakout. Hopefully you guys are too. And that's about it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, you might want to press the like button, but you don't have to. What's very important, though, is that you put the notification bell on, because what if Ripple settles? What if the lawsuit ends? What if another lawsuit comes up by the SEC? You want to be notified, and that's about it.